macho salsa, sombrero gato negro, mojito old del paso, Madrid Chihuahua, Adelén, por favor bailando. Guacamole, jalapeño, salvaje, Ricky Martin, bacalao, muy bueno, mariachi, gasolina, calamari, muchas gracias, Macarena, mi amigo, leve la vida loca, Antorillo, banderas.
Yes. With less than a minute of time to Derby, we are waiting for the team yells and the first lines to arrive on track.
My dear wife, they already did their team yells.
Yeah, that's
which we did not give a shout out to is our loving medic crew that we do not know the names of, but we're very happy to have them. And we're going to go to first jam on this game with, let's see, it's Sparkles for Pop as a jammer, with Doc Block as a jammer for St. Pauli. And let's see how this is going to go. So first start, and Sparkles makes it within sheer seconds. Doc Block is still working her way through the pack. Sparkles is on the scoring pass. Doesn't make it through yet. There she goes. First 4 points. Now, Doc Block made it through, and there's going to be a small chase. Sparkles goes on the outside, pulls up the jam, leaving St. Pauli behind with 8-0 points.
Next lining up as a jammer, we have Skull Kid, and Skull Kid will be facing off. You see?
I can't see the number yet.
I don't see the number yet.
There are some loving referees in the way. It looks like it's Tiger's Eye, according to our lovely scoring board. There they go. Jam is on. Tiger's Eye is in front, trying to stretch out that pack while Skull Kid passes on the outside and gets lead status. Here comes Tiger's Eye, fast out of the pack, putting on pressure on Skull Kid. There is a call off by Skull Kid.
Not quite managing to gain those points. Going through the inside, safely calling off, preventing St. Pauli from scoring.
Next jam, we have, I can see Horny Badger, number 7, on the line as a jammer for Pop. And we have, it looks like we have Kante as the jammer for St. Pauli. There we go, and Kante makes it out.
The first GD jammer status for St. Pauli.
But Honey Badger made it through very quickly as well, and the jam is being called off and 0 points are scored.
So you got 4 blockers. Now one of those blockers has no name.
We have Doc Block facing off Sparkles on the jammer line.
The star on the helmet is actually a removable thing. So you pass it, and then they just use that. So if you're not going through, you're trying to like pass the
And the jam is on, there they go. They are both fighting for it. Sparkles makes it through on the outside with a quick run. Doc Block is still fighting her way through the pack to have the initial pass, and she just gets it on the second corner. Sparkles takes on 4 points and pulls off the jam.
Skull Kid, and Skull Kid will be facing off against
Oh, I can't see. Tiger's Eye again.
Tiger's Eye.
Yes. Thank you for our lovely non-skating officials putting it up on the board for us to see as well. Jam is on, and Tiger's Eye makes a run on the inside and gets through the pack. going on the scoring pass while Skull Kid is still struggling to get his initial. There he goes. Have an initial, Tiger's Eye. Scores points, calls it off.
And we have the first points for St. Pauli on the board, making it 12 against 4. Then we have number 20, Kante, and Kante will be facing off Horny Badger.
And the jam is on. They both go at a similar pace towards the pack. Horny Badger goes through middle. They're still stuck. Kante is looking where she can go. Makes it around John Dark and has reached. And Kante calls it off.
It's actually very similar to the last jam that these days jammers were facing off.
Yes, very similar
Kante
indeed.
taking lead jammer status, closely followed by Horny Badger, and no points scored.
No points scored indeed. We'll see if they keep this up for now. And well, there's a loving hug going down here because there's organizers and people we haven't seen in a while. So it's always fun to cheer on people and tell hello to everybody. In the meantime, the jam is on again. Sparkles went slightly back. And I see Doc Block making a very nice toast-up run on the inside, but gets hit out by number 60, Manta Bruza.
And we have our first visitor to the penalty box.
No, we do not, because it was, oh sorry, that's behind one of the, yep.
Yep,
It's the pivot for St. Pauli.
St. Pauli pivot.
In the next jam, we have again Skull Kid facing off against Tiger's Eye. St. Pauli is now starting in the front with just 3 blockers on the track, trying to make sure that they use as much space to their advantage and use the blockers from pop against themselves, which seems to be working so far. And there goes Tiger's Eye, lead status, while Skull Kid is chasing it immediately, and it's being pulled off. I would say they're playing on a rather strategic level by making sure the other team cannot score points, and keeping the points as much in balance as they can for this moment being.
Again, we have Horny Badger facing off Kante.
Let's see how this one goes. If it is another close call, just like the previous two. They're off. Kante is stuck behind Pop's wall, but moving around, and Horny Badger takes in the meantime lead status. Kante as well. Hot on Horny Badger's hill.
And with danger out of the penalty box, we have
there is a penalty called for number.
The Parma.
I think it was screen 7. I think Horny Badger, yes, indeed. Horny Badger is sent off to the penalty box and has lost lead status with this.
Which makes this a power jam. The first power jam of this game.
And there she goes, making it through, scoring 4 points for St. Pauli B. Gemmer is standing up now. Kante is still working it, getting some help from her pivot, number 707, Danger, making it work too. Well, there has been a star pass.
A quick star pass from Horny Badger to the pivot.
Which is number 084, Bubble Wizard, who is now being the jammer for Pop. There goes
With a
Kante.
nice hop on the inside.
Scoring 4 points.
And and Kante is out of the pack.
A full-on jam, which will be lasting for a few more seconds, so let's see if they can make some more points. Kante does, very sneaky on the inside, scoring 4 points. Bubble Wizard still trying to fight to get through, makes it on the inside, getting round, and that was this jam.
And with the time running out, we have 20 versus 20. A tie on the board with 16 points scored by St. Pauli in the last jam.
So after the first 3 minutes, we have a tie, ladies and gentlemen, and all other people that are visiting us here and that do not like that.
And we have a team timeout called by St. Pauli.
So these little things are always a good thing to check up on the scores, but also to make sure that the penalties are written down correctly and all those little things. My follow announcer is just running over to the other side and making sure that we didn't miss anything specific, so we can try and keep track for you as well who has had what penalty and how many penalties were made, and not only the action throughout the game itself.
Yeah. They've been falling all day long.
And that was the first time out for St. Pauli. That comes to an end, and we're going to start next jam.
What?
And here comes Happy, who running up to me to be my announcing buddy again. So let's see what's going to happen in this next jam. Jam is on. Sparkle stage 2 in. Almost made it, but got stuck behind St. Pauli's wall, while Duck Block is struggling in the front of the pack, trying to make it through and gets lead status. Sparkle goes down. He's fighting for getting through that pack. Is being hit out by number 6-8. And the player of St. Pauli hit their own jammer. Woo! And the jam is being called.
And we have number 6-8 being sent to the penalty box.
Well,
For a
it was
direction
definitely
penalty.
chicky.
Other things on my mind.
For the next jam, I think it's going to be Tiger's Eye again. And another timeout is being called, but this time it's for Pop.
But do the refs have their own team? Or are they gonna it's like snuffing at the microphone.
Well, what do you think about waving to the audience, since there's a little bit of time here and we have a little bit of
Let's see how far this goes.
Hello people, now you know who's talking to you. So fun seeing you. Are you guys having, girls and everybody, non-binary people, are you all having fun and enjoying the commentary?
Who is here to cheer on St. Pauli?
How about Pop? It is a home team, so St. Pauli, don't take offense. There are definitely people rooting for you, and you're putting up a very good game with Pop together so far. We're definitely enjoying it.
And you are also allowed to cheer for both. Or just cheer for the officials.
Alright, so time has come and gone, and they're fighting for it already, sort of, at the pivot line. Let's see what they're going to do. They're going to go all the way back to the jammer line, standing still, and the jam is on.
With Skull Kid
tumbling down, and fighting for it, and taking up lead status by twisting around it. But there comes Tiger's Eye, very fast behind Skull Kid. First go. Skull Kid is calling it off, and both jammers go down because of a very full hit on account of Toffee Pair from St. Pauli.
And we will start off with a power jam with the St. Pauli jammer being sent to the penalty box with 2 blockers in the penalty box and 1 jammer. So we have Sparkles. Sparkles will be facing off 3 blockers.
There she goes, smiling as usually, making her round as a jammer. Blocker comes in, full frontal hit, gets around, and back into that wall. Getting some help from number 0901, Jean Splicer for the offense. Michaels is fighting and scores her first 4 points for this jam.
And with 4 points on the board, we have the second lead change with Parliament of Pain now ahead with 26 points.
In the meantime, Tiger's Eye made it through by taking off the star and keeping on jamming. Sparkles goes off to jam while Tiger's Eye is hitting the back of the pack.
And with 3 more points picked up by Sparkles, making it 29 to 24 in favor of the Aces of Pain.
For the next jam, it's Skull Kid facing off against Kante. There they go. Kante is stuck behind the top wall. So is Skull Kid, but he makes it through very quickly. Speed does 180 and makes it through and gets lead status. Kante is on her way. And the jam is being called.
And with 3 extra points for the Aces of Pain, it's 32 against 24. And on the jammer line, in the meantime, we have number 55, dot block against Sparkles, number 666.
This is a tight pack. The people are everywhere. I can see Duck Block getting up in front. Sparkles sneaks behind it and gets out. Duck Block being hot on the tail. And it's being called off by Sparkles.
A quick call off, preventing St. Pauli from scoring any points.
I don't see any points on the board either. I didn't see any from Delirious Diver just yet, so let's wait. 4 points for Pop have been scored in the last jam. It's Skull Kid against Kante, I think, again. Nope, Tiger's Eye. Tiger's Eye gets out, grabs lead status before Pop can actually make their move. There goes Skull Kid coming out of the pack while Tiger's Eye is going for that scoring pass. Making it through, falling off. And this was a tight one, so let's see how much points it is.
And Skull Kid managing to pick up 2 points. And we don't have the St. Pauli score yet. And there's 4 fingers in the air, so 4 points for St. Pauli.
So this is what you call slowly getting back up, catching up. And this is still anybody's game. There's just a 10-point score difference. Sparkles made it out in seconds, while Kante is working on getting out of the pack 16th. Very quick scoring pass. With an inside
And especially for the people at St. Paul, who are here for St. Pauli, my lovely colleague will do the next jam in German.
Ja, also, so für die deutschen Leute hier, St. Pauli, ich kann auch mal ein bisschen Deutsch reden und versuche mal ganz gut mein besten Deutsch im Derby zu versuchen. Habe ich noch nie gemacht, also pass auf. So, hier gehen wir. Jam ist los. Wir haben gerade Skulket in vorne, in der ersten Ecke, noch nicht durch. Und St. Pauli, da geht, ja, Doppler, kommt aus dem Pack, bekommt Lead Status und ist auf dem Weg vom Scoring Point und Skulket ist immer noch dabei. Kommt durch. Und jetzt, Doppler ist immer noch dabei. Sie geht weiter, sie sind 2 Personen, noch eine Person vorne. Hört auf, macht Ende zu dieser Runde. Sehr gut gemacht. Und deswegen haben wir 4 Punkte gegen 0 und bekommt St. Pauli wieder ein bisschen dichter bei die Score Points von Pop.
Thank you. Next jam we will have.
Gerne.
Applaus,
Auch die mehr auf Deutsch, oder geht es so auch mit Englisch?
We have Sparkles facing up Tiger's Eye.
Tiger's Eye in the middle, Sparkles goes on the out, however, Tiger's Eye gets the lead status, Sparkles is hot on her heels, and the jam is being called very quickly, with 2 points for St. Pauli and 0 points picked up by Pop. And the pivot of St. Pauli has been sent to the penalty box number 707, Danger. It's kind of fun to let people know there's actually 2 people. One that is not playing, unfortunately, today, but made a name change in their name. And Danger was actually Hermione Danger before and just goes by Danger now. St. Pauli really quickly makes it out with the upper jammer from Pop right hot behind them, getting up to the pack, making an effort at scoring points. Is actually in the Netherlands team. And there are some other players around here this weekend as well that actually are in Team Netherlands. They have a stand, they do sell merchandise, so if you like to be a supporter of Team Netherlands, do have a look.
In the meantime, we have Skulket facing up Tiger's Eye, with Skulket quickly taking the lead, closely followed by Tiger's Eye. With the pack trying to line up for Skulket to be able to score points.
There is 1 point for St. Pauli and 2 points for, 3 points for Pop.
3 points for Pop.
You have been seeing some
You're not allowed to be, and you're
changes in the league.
and for
They're really trying to play a very technical league.
Someone throws you at
They're all at the pivot line, so let's see what they're up to.
Nice tactic of homicidal tendencies, like sitting down before jam start.
They're all going to go back on the jammer line, trying to squish in. St. Pauli seems to be the tactic for pop for this one. Duck block. No, it's not duck block, it's Kante. Makes it out, gets lead status. While Sparkles is fighting to get through, has the pivot, jammer cover in hand. Scores 4 points and keeps on going. And a star pass is being faked and not fulfilled. So Sparkles keeps on jamming. While Kante goes for the second scoring pass, makes it through the front and calls off the jam.
Picking up 8 points for St. Pauli.
underneath the stickered line, so you can really feel when you're out of bounds. It's not that big, but it's big enough to feel it. I've never really seen anyone fall over.
With the score difference again being less than 10 points.
We have Skull Kid facing off against Doc. The jam is on.
Sorry.
The inside is being hit out. There is a little bit of confusion and a cutting penalty is being called on Doc Block where they did have lead status. And with this penalty, giving Pop free range to score points for a couple of seconds. A very nice hit done by number 6'8".
With Skokit going through on the inside, picking up 4 extra points for the Aces of Pain.
And again, Cheeky was in Skokit's way. Frontal hit has been executed by Skokit on Toffee Fair.
And in the meantime, Doc Block is out of the penalty box and out of the pack, going for a scoring
And another
pass.
time that Skokit was being forced out by number 6'8", Cheeky.
Either stop them from moving at all and being more aggressive, you try to
With a 15-point score for the Aces of Pain,
specific
which is quite an achievement.
That's why they're like, they try to aim their
And the jam is on. Sparkles is at the back of the pack, being very well kept by St. Pauli's blockers. In the meantime, Tiger's Eye has made it through, going onto the scoring pass, getting it and calling off the jam. Getting 4 points on the board and 0 for Pop. Again, closing that point difference gap.
And we have Kante, who is on track, who will be facing off
Against Bubble Wizard. And Bubble Wizard makes it through, gets lead status.
Bubble Wizard.
Kante is very close on his heels. He is being instructed to call it. However, Kante does sneak in 1 point for St. Pauli, whereas Bubble Wizard didn't get any points this round.
screen's a little different.
So for St. Pauli, I'm going to do a shout out to the people that unfortunately could not make it here. Number 007, Lethal Weapon. Number 667, Luna. Number 69, Rough Rudy. And number 51, Pochard.
And Skullkid picking up re-jammer status with Dog Block now also exiting the pack.
Dog Block is about half a lap behind. Skullkid does a apex jump.
Skullkid making apex jumps look easy, which they are not.
Scoring 4 points, and unfortunately no points for St. Pauli this round. It's again Sparkles facing off against Tiger's Eye. These two are both very fast, and they do make it exciting to see who gets through the pack first. It is Tiger's Eye that gets through the pack first. Sparkles took off the gem cover, trying to work getting through the pack. Still on the initial, on the inside, fighting for it, making it through. Making Tiger's Eye fall. And the gem is being called off. Sounds like our referee was having a big whoop.
Right after this,
Which is actually an interesting fact not everybody knows, but referees are actually people too.
There's fun, team no fun, right?
They are definitely team no fun.
It is Skullkid going down with a bunch of the pack, and Kanta making it out, grabbing the lead status. Skullkid has taken off the camera cover, doing another apex jump, and the penalty is being called.
And with a cutting the track penalty, Skullkid being sent to the penalty box.
Yes, and so is number 8, Moshpit Molly. I'm not entirely sure for the penalty, but there was definitely a penalty made.
Free her!
Which means it's a power jam start for St. Pauli.
A power jam start with only 3 blockers from the Aces of Pain on the track.
I can use
And it's Duck Block doing the power jam. Getting a hit on the inside, turning around, making it through, getting that lead status. While the jammer for Pop is still waiting in the penalty box for their penalty to end. Duck Block is on the scoring pass, and a no pack was called. 4 points being put on the board.
And with Skullkid out of the penalty
The jammer
box.
for Pop is busy with getting through on their initial. They're really fighting for this one. You can see some really good jamming and blocking going during this game.
And with after fighting for every pass, Skullkid is out of the pack, and St. Pauli calls the jam, preventing Skullkid from scoring any points.
And gaining 7 points on the board for themselves, making the gap again smaller than a 10-point difference for Pop still being in the lead with 72 points and St. Pauli having 64 points. We have Tiger's Eye facing off against Sparkles again. These two are really fast, and there goes Tiger's Eye. Getting out of the pack, but Sparkles is really close behind. Following up. Tiger's Eye literally races through this pack, scoring points and calling off the jam, while avoiding giving any points points away. So this score is again closer. The gap has been made smaller, and it's 72 against 68.
A 4 points difference, which is actually only one pass.
It
You
is.
score on everyone.
Fire in the disco. Fire in the Taco Bell. It's my desire. It's my desire. Don't you wanna know how we keep starting fires? It's my desire. It's my desire. It's my desire. Danger, danger. High voltage. When we touch. When we kiss. Danger, danger. High voltage. When we cut. When we kiss. When we touch.
Happened before, but it looked like the tactic was carried out well and worked to the advantage that of 1 to 2, and except for the scoring of points. We have Skull Kid facing off against Tiger's Eye, and the jam is on. Tiger's Eye makes it to the front where the blockers of Pop are waiting, passes on the inside, picking up lead status. In the meantime, Skull Kid has passed out of the pack as well, going hard into that fourth corner, speeding up very bad, and hitting into the pack.
We have 3 points for Pauli, which I was just corrected.
An official review has been issued. An official review is where there is a scenario that is being told to the referees, then they will decide upon what they have seen and if the call stands or not. So we're going to have to wait for that for a little bit. As you can see, the referees are now all huddled up, hearing about the scenario that happened. And then they're gonna split up, and then the captains have to wait until the decision by the referees has been made.
And we have St. Pauli asking for a back block penalty to be called on the Aces of Pain jam. The referees are now going to discuss the situation and make their decision.
In the meantime, some volunteers are checking the track, see if there's any ruptures in the tape or that the thread underneath is becoming visible. This will help the teams to actually skate inbounds and feel if they are inbounds, but if it becomes open, then it can be a bit of a hazard for our players.
And a functioning track will make everyone happy.
It seems a decision has been made, and we will be informed shortly. tell us, what is the verdict?
A back block penalty has been called on Skullcat. So Skullcat number 23 is going into the penalty box as a jammer and will also start from the penalty box the next jam with 30 seconds on his penalty time.
Dear German guest, would you like me to do a power jam in German again? So, gehen wir auf Deutsch. So, die Jam hat gestartet und Dogblock Kante ist dabei, um durchzukommen mit der Hilfe von ihrem Blocker zu machen Offense. Wir sind jetzt fast in die zweite Ecke, auf die Außenseite, geht sie durch und bekommt die Jammer. Pauli steht schon fertig, so wenn die Jammer rauskommt, Kante geht durch mit ihrem ersten Mal Punkte und geht weiter für ihre zweite Runde zum Punkt zu bekommen. Skullcat, Jammer von Pop ist gerade durch und ist da fast bei zum Punkt zu bekommen und das war das Ende von dieser Jam. Ein Punkt für Pauli und keine Punkte für Pop. Sehr schön gemacht.
And we have a lead change. A lead wechsel?
Ja, also das heißt, wir haben gerade einen Wechsel und St. Pauli steht vorne in Punktezahl 77 Punkte gegen 75 Punkten von Pop. And the jam is on. It's Sparkles going up against Dogblock. Sparkles racing through. Has lead status. Dogblock is still fighting her way out of the pack into the second quarter. The blockers are still in front of the jammer. In the meantime, Sparkles is coming up for a scoring pass, making it through. And Dogblock sees an opportunity created by Sparkles to also get through. Two hits to the chest, full frontal hits, which forced Sparkles to start calling it off because Dogblock was on the way.
And with 5 points for Aces of Pain, we again have another change. With Aces of Pain now leading with 80 against 77, with only 3 points difference.
And it's going to be Skullcat facing off against Tiger's Eye. Skullcat is making it through the front. Cheeky was in the way. The other blockers are there as well. It's Skullcat who grabs the lead. However, Tiger's Eye is making him down. Unfortunately, doesn't get the opportunity to score any points, but that was some really good jammer on jammer action. In the upcoming jam, it's Kante against Sparkles. Jam is on. They are both hitting the pack. They are both stuck for the moment being. Sparkles is really pushing. However, Kante pushes right through on that inside, grabbing that lead status. Sparkles is out and chasing Kante. It's 1 point against 1 point. These teams are very well matched against each other, which makes it a very exciting game. Usually I prefer these over the games where you basically, as one team, get down a lot and the score point difference is too big. These are really fun games to watch and to play. Skullcat makes it out on the outside of the first corner. Dogblock with a 180, however, not making it through, getting hit out, and having to be recycled at the back. In the meantime, Skullcat does a scoring pass, scores 4 points, and calls off the jam.
And with 23 more minutes left on the clock, the score difference is still less than 10 points, which make this a really close game.
We have Sparkles against Tiger's Eye, and Tiger's Eye is running in the front. However, Sparkles nearly first a little bit, and the blockers realized that it was their own jammer trying to get through as well. In the meantime, the blockers are trying to assist Sparkles by hitting the blockers of the opposing team. And there's a real big fight going on at the moment for Tiger's Eye to make it through, putting 4 bonus points on the board and both having scored 4 points. There is 2 points for Sparkles. And something was called by the referee. I'm not entirely sure what it was. Are you happy, Bull? For our upcoming jam, we can see Skull Kids standing at the ready, as well as Kamten. Jam is all, and here they go. They start in the pack. It's a very tight pack at most times, and Kamten pushes through, pushing Gene Splicer and Killjoy to the side like it was nothing. In the meantime, Skull Kids makes it through by pretending to take off, well, he took off the star, but trying to get maybe a fake out on a star pass. And Kanta scores points, calls it off, and is not in time enough to avoid a 1-point steal by Pop.
And we will start off the next jam with 2 blockers in the penalty box, which makes it 3 blockers versus 3 blockers, who will be facing off Sparkles and Doc Block.
Jam is old, Sparkles pushes her way into that pack, gets recycled for it, and gets lead status. Doc Block is working on getting through that pack, has taken off the star, working, getting through, however, getting pushed out by blocker number 60, Manza Musa, and she twirls underneath his arm to go back to the front, however, gets a penalty in a send to the box, making this a power jam.
And in the meantime, Sparkles has picked up another 4 points. Which is not, it is not.
And this is the moment in the game where you can start seeing that people are starting to get a bit tired and that they're still working for it, and it's being called off.
A technical call off from Sparkles, which means that St. Pauli jammer will start from the penalty box in the next jam.
Having a power jam against.
A
So
power jam starts.
Skull Kid is getting sort of a free range of motion with not having to pay attention to the other jammer.
And with 14 points
There
scored
is
in
a
the last
timeout
jam,
being called by St. Pauli.
and with 14 points scored for the Aces of Pain in the last jam, they have made it across the 100 points barrier.
Mark.
Mark.
Is your image starting to be half as well? Are you doing justice to your half evil name?
Yeah. It's like one half is evil and the other half is non-functioning.
Oh, that would be me then. For people that don't know, half evil is my derby wife, and I am his hubby.
Yep.
So,
All of Breenus. children, Derby children, are for all Greens Derby children. I am their happy evil stepmom.
That comment doesn't make any sense. I used to be a trainer for multiple teams, but I was here at Hague training freshman until the 1st of April, and then I quit because it was no longer something I was able to do for now, and I had to focus on other stuff in my life. However, I'm very happy to be here today with my Derby wife announcing this game.
In the meantime, we have Stockett on the line.
Yes, and the jam is on. John Dark pushes out one of the blockers, so Stockett gets more freedom of range with getting out, and Doc already is in the game, being pushed back by Gene Spicer. In the meantime, Stockett scored his first points on the board for Pop. There has been a start pass from Duck Block to Chicky, who is now going for a scoring pass, gets not to fill it because the jam is being pulled off. Making the score total 115 to 86.
We have Tiger's Eye lining up against Sparkles with an empty penalty box.
It's not like Transformers. It's not like not the left there, but
Sparkles goes on the inside, being pushed back while Tiger's Eye passes on the outside in the first corner, going for the scoring pass. There's still being worked on getting out of that pack, and she was completely stuck by the blockers on the inside curve, goes on the out, passes, and is now out of the pack going for that scoring pass.
With a no pass, no penalty from Tiger's Eye, which makes it 3 points. And with 3 extra points for St. Pauli, they are now at 89 versus 115 for Aces of Pain. And we have 17.5 minutes left on the clock.
It is Stockett facing off against Kante. Stockett runs to the front, gets stuck in the pack behind the jammers of St. Pauli. I was about to say so did Kante, but made it through just after the first curve and going up for that scoring pass, while Stockett is still working on getting out of that pack. In the meantime, Kante has scored 4 points, and Stockett is working for it, getting through, and going for the scoring pass. Kante gets past all of the blockers and calls off the jam, getting 8 points. by St. Pauli with that jump.
However, with 2 blockers in the penalty box, it's going to be only 2 blockers who will be stopping the St. Pauli
We have
jammer.
a new jammer for
Yes.
top. It's Manza Brusa that is going up against Cheeky, which is also has a start as a jammer. Cheeky makes it out in split seconds. Manza Brusa being stuck behind the blockers of St. Pauli, getting recycled. I can see 403 is really working it on this angle and going their start pass from Manza Brusa to Bubble Wizard, being spotted and the jam is being called off. With a scoring of 8 points for St. Pauli, making the score 135 for Pop against 105 for St. Pauli.
And St. Pauli also passed the 100 points mark.
Pop has Sparkles and it's against Kante. They're all starting at the jammer line, making it a very tight hit. Kante won through it. Got lead status, however, Sparkles sneakily passes her. And the jam is being called.
With 0 points scored. Kante not allowing Sparkles to score any points.
No, everyone's wearing
Now we have Tiger's Eye against Skull Kids.
Jam is on. Skokit is pushing on that inside, trying to gain the seat there. He's being pushed back while Tiger's Eye makes it on the outside, out of the pack, goes through the curve and for that scoring pass. Skokit isn't in the back yet. A star pass has been played. Kid making Bubbles Wizard now the jammer, and Tiger's Eye calling it off after a scoring pass.
With 4 points for St. Pauli, making it 109 versus 135 for Aces of Pain.
We have about 10 minutes left in this game, so there are still a lot of options open, so let's keep on watching this very tight game. Jam is going to start, here we go. Sparkles is on that in, trying to push away through with some help and assistance from Kelly. However, Dot Block makes it through first, going for that scoring pass, while Sparkles is being recycled back and has to re-enter that pack to make that first scoring. So to go for that scoring pass. A star pass has been done from Sparkles to Jean d'Arc, while Dot Block is busy with trying to rack up some points and calling it off before Jean d'Arc can score points, which is successful. 2 points, 3 points for St. Pauli, and 0 points for Pop this jam. Again, closing that point difference gap that they have been doing the entire game so far.
With an empty penalty box, we have Bubble Wizard facing up
Kante.
Kante.
Bubble Wizard is fighting in the front, making it through on the first one. However, Kante is close behind, putting on the pressure for this jam. There's some offense going on from Pop. Bubble Wizard flies out of that corner while Kante takes an inside corner, and 0 points have been scored.
We have Tiger's Eye facing up against Skull Kid.
Skokit is on the out, gets recycled to the back, and Tiger's Eye takes this opportunity to grab that lead status. Skokit has taken off the
And
And the jam again is called off very strategically, with St. Pauli scoring 2 points and not giving any points away towards Pop.
It's a very clever move to squeeze the hips in front of the last two blockers.
It's Sparkles against Cheeky. This is a new scenario. Cheeky fights on that outside. Sparkles goes on the in. In the meantime, Cheeky gets recycled in the back. Cheeky sees that opportunity, runs past all the blockers of Pop on that inside, and he's putting on the pressure on this jam. Cheeky sees an opportunity, gets through before Sparkles does, scores 4 points, so it's a tie in points right now, and Sparkles pulls it off to keep that point difference at the same as it was.
And with St. Pauli slowly creeping up on being only 21 points.
St. Pauli is really doing a very well job with not having all of their players here today and keeping that pressure on Pop throughout this game. We have Skullkid facing off against Kante. Skullkid is looking for options, trying to see where he can go to, makes it, and in the meantime, Kante is being recycled to the back, sees that opportunity on that inside corner and goes for it. Skullkid is on the scoring pass, reads through that pack, and calls off the jam.
We have Tiger's Eye, who is lining up as jammer. And we do not see any Pop players yet.
A timeout by Pop has been called, so we're going to have to wait for that. We hear a shout out from one person for Yay Officials. So, Yay Officials, thank you for all the volunteers that are here, but also thank you all for being here, for watching these games and supporting the sport that is roller derby. We have about 6 minutes left in this game. So, and as it has been said, it can still be anybody's game. It depends if a power jam happens, for example, and on what side it is. So it will be exciting for these last 6 minutes.
With a rolling whistle, we are going into the 30 seconds for the next jam. The next jam, still in track Tiger's Eye. And Tiger's Eye.
Sparkles.
And Sparkles.
They're probably very big and bushy.
Teams are getting ready for this jam. They are a bit split on the track. They now move towards the jammer line. They look at it, they try to get Sparkles, who goes out, reaches through that pack, while Tiger's Eye gets recycled and makes it out of the pack. Manzabula tries to give a hit, does not succeed, and Tiger's Eye is out going towards that scoring pass, while Sparkles is right behind there and calls off that jam.
With Sparkles waiting until the last minute to call off, just to bleed some more seconds of the game time.
Very strategic move. Scoring points and withholding the other team from scoring points while letting that clock tick down.
And with a little over 5 seconds left on the clock.
5 minutes.
Minutes left on the clock.
We have Cheeky against Skullkid. I see Cheeky go into that pack, getting through, going down, getting back up, getting the lead. Oh, lead status isn't for Cheeky, it is for Skullkid because Cheeky went down. Skullkid took that opportunity to get Cheeky is going through the pack, weaving through, getting through, and Skolkers follows behind. These are very exciting jabs. We see Cheeky trying to keep that front, keep it, those points. There's being called off. And the referees are checking for how many points were scored, and it's 4 points in this round for Pop against 3 points for St. Pauli, making the score 155 against 125.
And St. Pauli is asking for an official review.
So there goes HARBOUR to check in what the scenario is. They're asking a official review about, and we will let you know as soon as he comes back here what the review is being requested for. In the meantime, there have been lots of things today to do here at the venue. The only thing that we have left to mention is that there is time to gather up in the canteen after this game, starting at 8:30, which on the clock it is right now, but this clock is off. For all those people that are still here at our venue, having fun looking at this game, if you want to relax and hang out with some of the skaters or some of the volunteers or the referees, please join in the canteen, which is upstairs, and you probably have already found, but just making sure that you know it's there. And there is a after party I read. I am just not sure about the location at this moment.
In the meantime, St. Pauli is asking for 4 points to be deducted from the score of the Aces of Pain, claiming that the jammer was not inbounds when the jammer landed after the apex jump. And the referees are now discussing this situation and making their decision.
A decision has been reached, and our lovely Quagga is coming here to inform HARBOUR of the scenario and what has happened. And in the meantime, our head ref, the horse whistler, is letting the teams know what their conclusion is for this official review. Okay, HARBOUR, tell us, what has been said?
The referees have determined that the landing was inbounds, so the 4 points were given correctly.
This means that the score remains the same. It stays 155 against 125, making it a 30-point score difference with only 4 minutes and 13 seconds left on the clock.
And after an unsuccessful challenge, St. Pauli loses their official review.
It's Sparkles against Tiger's Eye on this jam. I can see Tiger's Eye is stuck behind the wall. In the meantime, Sparkles is getting recycled, sees that opening and grabs that opening to become lead jammer. Tiger's Eye is looking and got recycled for a second time, and is going to keep doing that while Sparkles scores the first 4 points on this jam. There is a multiplayer issued on Mansa Buza number 60 from Pop. Sparkles is looking and calling off the jam while Tiger's Eye was almost about to go through the scoring.
And with 8 more points for the Aces of Pain and 3 minutes left on the clock, we are going.
Probability that Pop will win this game is starting to grow. However, it is not impossible just yet. For the next jam, it will be Kante facing off against Skull Kid.
And Aces of Pain will start off with 1 blocker in the penalty box. With Skull Kid taking the lead jammer status, Kante coming closely behind. Skull Kid quickly going past the outside, waiting for the best moment to call it off. every second counts at this point, with a little over 2 minutes left on the game clock.
You can definitely see that the jammers for Pop are looking at their coach to see at what moment they exactly have to call off the jam, and they are actually really waiting for it, which is a skill to gain if you are new to Derby. St. Pauli doesn't have this right now. They don't have a coaching staff. They are doing the playing and the coaching with the people that they have here. So give a shout out to them for that. In the meantime, Cheeky is being just that and grabs lead from Sparkles. Is going for the scoring pass. Scores the points, pulls it off, and let's see what has happened to the points. It's 2 points awarded to Pop for Sparkles, passing through on that inside, while Cheeky gains 4 points for this round.
And then for St. Pauli, we have Tiger's Eye lining up to face off Skullkid, with a 40-point difference and 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the game clock.
They're off. Tiger's Eye saw some opportunity, didn't get fully past Ian Splicer, is having to go back for a little bit, still grabs that lead status, while Skullkid was looking at the fact like, how am I going to get through, and he makes it through, putting on that pressure on St. Pauli. Tiger's Eye looks, tries to score points, calls it off. The jam ref for Pop shows that there are 0 points for this jam for Pop, and we're waiting on the decision of the referees to see how many points have been scored by St. Pauli, and it's 2 points.
And we have Sparkles lining up against Kante.
Jam is on. Sparkles goes into that pack as well as Kante. She does not get stuck on this one. Kante is not very long behind her. Sparkles is playing with Kante, trying to see if she can hit her out, which she does not succeed in. Kante goes just past her. Kante goes for trying to steal some points there.
And Sparkles cleverly waiting until the game clock is at 0. So we have an unofficial score, although for the official score we still have to wait until the referees have decided that everything is in order.
For all the people that are up there in the audience, once it's official, you can all come down here, high five all of the teams, be at the sidelines here. For now, it's just a waiting game to let the officials do their thing and announce that the game has officially ended. However, I think we're going to hear some team yells. At least it seems to be like that. And the final score is on the board. This game has ended with Pop winning the game with 169 points against 131 points for St. Pauli.
Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for supporting your teams. Don't forget, tomorrow we have 5 more games. We have Brussels facing up against Dundee. We have Rotterdam facing up against Prague. Budapest City versus St. Pauli. Rotterdam Seagulls versus Brussels B. And Rotterdam Harbour Honeys versus Brussels La Drache. So don't forget to be here.
Please give a warm applause to all the players that played here today, but especially the players just here now for this game. They did really well. They do beat their hearts out. And also a big round of applause for our lovely crew, which is referees, non-skating officials, my Derby wife,
And my Derby husband.
and all the other volunteers that you can't see from here. If you want to, please come down here to high-five the players after they hugged it